Okay, so /dev/sdb and hit enter, you get this information here. But now there is one crucial step we need to take. What is that step? We need to select the file system. We need to select the file system for this volume here. So what is the file system? I will cover that in a minute here. So how do you make the file system? The command is mkfs.ext4. ext4. ext4 is a name of a file system, okay? And then we're gonna set that file system to sdb1, I think. Yeah, right here. sdb1. Okay. And you hit enter. So what happened here now is it created a ext4 file system here. So in here, the block size ID is 4 kilobyte. Okay. So let me see here. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to highlight only the important ones in here. So it says here the block size is 4096K, 4096 bytes. That means 404 kilobyte. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that here. Okay, so let me highlight that, and let's see here. And the inodes, it wrote about how many inodes? 264,944 inodes. That means you could create up to that many files. You could create up to that many files on this block here we created. We created about 4 GB, right? Was it okay, 8 GB? So we created one partition here. In that partition, the minimum size of the file will be 4K. So if you have a file which is only 1K, 1024, then it will use up the size 4096 4K. Okay. All right. So let's see here, and it has inodes. Okay, I explained you earlier what are inodes, right? It has a, let's see, go back up here. Okay, inode is, it is a table on a disk which contains all the information regarding each file. So in the sense it's creating that many inodes means you could create that many files. Okay, so if you create that many files, if you ran out of inodes, If you have like if you have like 264 260,000 inodes, right? It's using all of these inodes, but the size of the file is only 1K each. So it's in 4 gigabyte, but the inodes, if you run out of the inodes, the system will not allow it to write anymore. Okay. All right. And let's see here what else. So right here it says the system is automatically checked 180 days. All these are there, but you don't really pay too much attention to these things here, okay? And let me see what else. Blocks. Okay, and this one is also important. What this is doing is, if you are logged in, if you're creating a file as a group, you could create that many files only. That many 7,968 files as a group on that on this partition here. Okay. So let me just cover the block size here. I have a picture here I made up a last time. So block size. So if you have a file which is 1K, it's going to use up 4K size because that's what it's set to. Okay. But if you have a file which is 5 kilobyte, can somebody tell me how much it's going to use up? So if you have a file which is 5K, but it's going to use up the disk space, which is 8K.
8.
Okay. So, for example, if you have like something like 10K, the file size is 10 kilobyte, right?
It will use 12.
Go ahead.
12.
Yeah, great. You're going to use 12K. Okay. So there is no way around this here. So each 4K is each block is 4K. Okay. Each block is a 4 kilobyte block.
So, but Zafar, is this 4K is system enforced or it can be changed?
Yeah, it's system enforced, and we're using this as a MKFS file system.
Okay.
Okay, and this is compatible with Red Hat 7, but Red Hat 7 by default what they have is MKFS XFS file system. Okay, XFS file system. It's very good and pretty new. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. It's very good here. It could handle up to one single file could be up to 16 terabytes in XFS file system. Okay. Okay. Actually, let me see. Give me one moment here. Okay, I'm searching for. Okay, yeah, this looks really good here. Okay, so okay, Red Hat 6 here. So Red Hat 6 and 7, if you're using the ext4 file system, the size of a single file, okay, single file could be 16 terabytes. Okay, that's pretty huge. So if you have like a Word document, it could be as big as 16 terabytes here. Okay, it's very big. And then if it's on a XFS file system, the size is 100 terabytes. Okay, and oh, look at that. And then on Red Hat 7, it could hold up to 500 terabytes. So each single file could be as big as 500 terabytes. But these are useful. The use case for these things are the databases. Databases could be a single file and they could be very, very big. Okay. There is a lot more to it, but for us just to understand, this is what we need here. Okay, so let me put that in here. By the way, I uploaded the video and the document just before starting the class because the video wasn't available from WebEx. It's giving me trouble lately. Okay, so let's see here. Ugh. ext. Okay, and let me just put this together. Okay, so pretty simple here, file size, file. Okay, so in Red Hat 7, this by default it is a XFS file system, and in a Red Hat 6 by default it is ext4. Okay, all these things are not new. They've been around for a while, but the technology has caught up and is being used now. Okay, so the concept has been there for a while.
Okay, I have a question about the file.
Yeah, I could barely hear you.
Okay, in real Do they use only the disk type, or do they also use the tape or cylinders to define the file?
No, I cannot hear you. Can you put the question in the chat?
In the real world, I mean, do they only use the disk type, or do they also use the tape or cylinders to define the file, size of the file?
No. Can somebody relay that?
Muzaffar, if you can hear me,
Yeah, I can hear you.
okay. So he's asking that in real world, do the companies use the disk or they use the cylinder and tape as well?
No, in a real world scenario, they would be using all this. XFS is being used right now. If it's Red Hat 7, XFS is being used. For Red Hat 6, if you want to use XFS, you have to install a package for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
So all this procedure is same except this one here. For in Red Hat 7, you have to type mkfs dot xfs. Okay. And then this information we are looking at is this is only things we need to worry about. There's a lot more to it. You could read up on it, but I prefer not to spend too much time on it because you don't have to worry about it too much. Okay. Okay. So in here there is other things here also, but don't worry about too much because there is too much information here. We're not gonna worry about it as much. Let's see here. Okay, are you guys clear about this block size though? Block size? Anybody have questions? Let me see if I could find a graphic. Okay, yes. Okay, we are good for this right now. So again, I mean it's pretty simple. The each size, regardless the sizes, is going to go into increment of 4K. Okay. All right. So what happened? I mean, we created a file system here. It's nice and good. Oh, I didn't hear enter, right? Did I? Okay, I already did. Okay, so this is really important. So next few classes, if you're gonna miss it, then it's gonna be really difficult for you to catch up. Okay, so but if you're in a class, it's really beneficial for you. Okay, so the disk is there, but how do I use it? Okay, uh, there is another command you could use to see the size of the disk here. I mean, if the disk is there or not, you could use one more command. You could type parted, PARTED -L. So what this command does is, this command is also brings up the attached devices information here. Okay. So we have SDA, which is a system file, and I'm sorry, system drive, and then it has one and two. It has two partitions. One is the boot volume, and other one is the logical volume here. Okay. All right. So then it has SDB, and it has only one partition here, the one we just created. And then it is about uh, 404302 megabytes. That means 4 gigabytes. Okay. And then what is this here? 14 GB EXT. Okay, so this is also this is the volume group for the main partition here. Okay, so how do we actually see what devices are being at this moment right now? The command you type is df-h. Okay, so what it is saying here is, okay, you look at the volume group, and the moment you see root, that means this is a root file system, and it's mounted to /root. Okay, and then you have okay, yeah, I'm not sure what this is. I'll talk to you about it later. And then the SDA1, which is out of SDA, is mounted onto /boot. Okay, so this is SDA1. This is where the system is booting, and SDA1, SDA2. This is where the root file system is there. Okay, somebody says that they can't hear me. Can somebody confirm that?
No, we can hear perfectly fine. At least I can hear perfectly fine. Samina can check, I think, her speaker.
Anybody else confirm that they can hear me?
Yeah, we are good.
Okay,
Yes, I can hear you.
okay, good. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so now we got a problem here, right? We have okay, so I have this disk and I want to use it. So how am I going to use it? We call it a process called mount. Okay, mount, and before that, what you could do is you could create a folder. You could actually create a folder here. You could create a folder anywhere in your directory. In any directory, you could create a folder. cd/root. You could create a folder anywhere you want in here. Okay, or you could go back in here, and in your present working directory, you could create a folder also. Okay, let's create a folder mkdir. Okay, uh, 4 GB disk. Okay, so I created a folder name 4 GB disk. Let me go in there and go in the 4 GB, and let me do ls. There is nothing in there. Let me create about 5 files in there. Touch slash f1, f2, f3, f4, f5. Okay, so we have about 5 files in here. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to use the folder we created, 4 GB disk, to mount our SDB drive. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Okay, you're going to be saying, okay, what is going on over here? So let's see here. So to start using the disk, what you have to do is you have to type a command mount. Okay, and then name of the disk is dev/sdb, and you double tap it, and then you have sdb and sdb1. Okay, you type sdb1, and where do you want to mount it to? You want to mount it to slash dev, no, slash root slash 4 GB disk. Okay, and then let me type df-h. Okay, now you see that df-h. Can somebody search what is df stands for? And so now you see dev/sdb1 is mounted on this folder here. So if you want to save something to this disk, you would be writing in here. Okay, so let me go into this folder here. Okay, so now when I do ls-l, all the files are gone there. Okay, so what this is we created about 4 files in here, right? So what we are doing here is we are using this folder as nothing but a viewing place in here. This folder is a window to this. Previously, this folder was windows to this files here. Okay, wherever it's written in the system. Now, since we use the mount command, we are telling this folder here, okay, forget what you had before, but start using this as your source data. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause for a minute here and take some questions.
So, suppose the mounting points we just create as empty directory and use as mounting points.
Exactly. You could definitely use the existing one also.
So what if the one is already mounted?
Hmm?
If and let's say 4 GB disk was already mounted to somewhere else, and we mount again.
Yeah, you use the command umount. You use the command unmount. You have to unmount it first.
Okay.
Okay, Shakil, you're not following here. Let me put the instructions in here, then you could do it, okay? Okay, let's do it. Okay, so this is the command, mkdir4, and then after that what I did? Okay, so I created a CD drive and then I created some files in there. Okay, this is for the demo process. You don't have to do it. Then what I did was I mounted the SDB1 to this folder here. Okay, and then you go in there, you change it to this disk, and you will not see the files. Why? Because it's mounted to the different disk.
Zafar, as DF stands for default -H.
DF, that's what you're asking?
Yes, does that stand for default?
No. What did you search?
You're asking us what the DF stands for.
Yeah, DF stands for disk free.
It,
Disk. Okay.
it is DF stand for disk file system. I googled that. So
Do you find it this file system? I was
yeah.
thinking this free. So when you type df, -h is human readable. With df command, you could do a lot here. You could see what files are mounted here and then the size. How much is used here, right here. Uh, how much is used and how much is available and how much is the percentage, how much is used. Okay.
So when you mount the SDB1 to the root, by default they'll be using that folder, and then the top one versus /boot, that's gonna be gone, or
No, no, slash boot is this one. All this one is hard coded here. This much is hard coded. What
okay.
what does system does is it will create all this when we are running. Remember when we are running the CD and all that, it's doing all this in the background. It's doing a lot of things here. One of them is this. Okay, then we did this manually here. We created this manually and we mounted here. But this is not hard coded. What does hard coded means? When I restart the system, it won't be mounted here. So let's take a look. Okay, so I'm gonna restart my system here.
So Zephyr, to create another SDB1 to the root, is that are you separating the partition? So I'm a little confused on why was the dev SD1 created to the /root.
Oh no, this is system. Remember I told you here, dev/SDA, it's a primary disk. Okay, it's a boot drive and it's a OS drive. Okay, it's automatically created here. What is this SDA? SDA1 here. If you go into settings here and storage, this very first drive, you have to have a hard drive for the system to start loading operating system from, right? This is SDA. This is SDA and this is SDB. If I add a third disk, what will it become? A third disk will become SDC. Okay, and I showed you yesterday, right? This goes all the way to Z, and after that, the 27th drive would be SDAA. So SDA is reserved. It's reserved for OS drive. Okay, is that what you're looking for?
Yep, and then the SDB1 is just you're creating it to separate the partition. So
Yep. Yeah, SDB1, I just added the secondary drive. Okay, and then we are working on fdisk command. I created two partitions. One is 4 GB and other one is left blank. We haven't created that yet.
So, but Zafar, even if we did not create a partition on system drive, there will be a partition. It will be called default SDA1, right?
Uh, it's just a raw disk, and it will get it's all it gets is let me see if you have visual. If I could show you how a visual is in Windows. Okay, in Windows you have a disk management here, and for my system, there are two disks attached here, disk 0 and disk 1. Disk 0 is the main one, and it has like a little reserved, it has a little reserved uh, partition where the system boots from, and then this is a boot drive where it has all the boot system files and all those it boots from here. At the same time, it is using the. You could also go into this drive and then save the files here if you want. Like in this Windows scenario, this is the main system drive, and this is our SDA and this is our SDB. Okay, and you double click on it, and you have all this here. If you delete any of these files here, especially this Windows folder, if you try to create, these are system folders, right? You could compare all these with our /root, and then we have all these other files in here, right? These are essential files that the system is using now. System is using for the operating system to be working. This is actually what operating system is. Sets of instruction, nothing but files and folders. Okay. You could compare all these to Windows files. Okay, you get it?
Thank you. My question was that we have SDA, our first disk, right?
Yeah.
And we have SDB, our second disk.
Yes.
In SDB, we did create two partitions, SDB1 and SDB2. In our first disk, we didn't create any partition. So in order to use a disk, even if it is one partition, so system do use.
No. When the system is installing, when it's running from the CD, remember you said install it from the CD?
Yeah.
When you first time, system is doing all that for you.
Okay, that's my question. So SD1 is a system generated partition.
Yeah.
And it comprises of the entire disk.
Yeah. It takes up the whole disk. There is no way to make partitions on it. Whatever, even if you have like a 20 terabyte drive, it's gonna use the whole disk.
Okay.
And then it will still allow you to save files in that root file system. Okay.
And my second question is a bit naive. How do I exit from F disk? I'm on my system on F disk, so I don't know how to exit that.
Okay, where are you at now?
You know where it shows the options A, B, C, D, all the way to X, M for help, etc.
Yeah. So, are you writing it? So to write it, you have to type W and enter.
Okay, and if I just want to, so it's a kind of editor. That's what it's telling, right?
Yeah, it's like a little utility. FDisk utility is very, very old. It's probably there from the start of this operating system.
So if I just want to exit.
Just select Q.
Okay, Q. Okay. Okay, thank you. I got it.
Okay, you got it right. Okay, so let me type DF-H. It's gone. Remember, it was nice. It was mounted here, and it's gone. And if I go into this folder here, your previously held files will be there. Okay. Your previously held files is back in there because the disk is not mounted. Okay, so how are we going to make it permanent here? When the system reboots, how are we going to make it permanent? Okay, for that, you have to go into FSTab. There is a file called FSTab, configuration file called FSTab. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna go into cd slash etc. etc folder, it holds all the configuration files. And the name of the file is fstab. Okay. Oh, not cd, vi. So in here, if you look at it in here, okay, let me open another session here. Okay. When you type dff and h, it's reading this information here, okay? It's pulling the information from this fs tab here. So let's compare. Okay, in here, it's registered here, dev slash mapper slash volume group slash root. Okay, and it's mounted to, I mean, to be honest with you, this is very hard to read here, okay? But that's how it is. This file system is mounted to root, and then the file system is ext4, and then it says defaults and 11. These are system defaults here, okay? Now the second one is mounted to boot here, but it's using the UUID. Okay, it's using this very long alphanumeric number here. Okay, so how do you find this alphanumeric number? You type LSBLK. Okay, and then you could also type BLKID. Aha. When you type the BLKID, it will give you all the, this is a UUID is a very long alphanumeric number. It could be only one in the world. I think this is a hexadecimal. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, this is probably the hexadecimal number. So this is UUID is a unique identifier ID. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So let's look at last four digits, 4091. Over here 4091. And 4091 is SD1. Okay, so let's do df-h, and it confirms that def slash SD1 is mounted to boot, and this is what it's coming here from. It uses the UUID, and then it's mounted to the boot. What is the use case for UUID? When you use UUID, there is a zero chance that you are making any mistake in here. So it looks like this. You could use it def slash SDA1 and SDA2, and when you have a lot of disks and files in there, it gets confusing, right? SDA1, SDB1, they all sound good. They all sound similar. So, but if you're using a UUID, there is no chance of errors in here, okay? And then this one is the swap. What is a swap? Swap is a virtual memory. We're going to go deep into that. For that, you have to type the command free-h. Okay? So you see a swap here, free-. When you type free-h, it will give you the size of a virtual memory. Okay, and all these are, this may or may not load in the system here. So this is proc. Proc is loaded on the, proc is loaded on the /proc. /proc is, it holds all the current memory information here. So this is really important for it to load. And this is for the system. Okay, and I'm not sure what these two are, so I have to check up on that. Never really looked into that. but I'm worried about all the time here. So I want to make this permanent here. When I boot the system, I want to make this permanent here. So how do I do this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this here. I'm going to actually copy this. I'm going to copy YY, and then I'm going to paste it in here, okay? Okay, I think I copied the wrong one. What the? Okay, okay, good. So now I want to map my /dev/sdb1. Okay, where is my sdb1 here? My sdb1 is here. So how am I going to do that? I'm gonna I'm gonna start typing in here, I suppose. sdb1. Okay, and where am I mapping this to or mounting it to? Root slash this folder here. So I mounted to root/sdb. I'm sorry, root/4GB disk. Okay. Now, when it says ext4, then the file system is ext4. You have to define that. If it's Red Hat 7, you could make it to XFS. But don't worry about that. But we are only worried about ext4 since we created an ext4 file system. And this column stays as default and 1 1. Just leave all these alone, okay? Escape, okay, -X. I saved and exit, okay?
So, Zafar, what you're doing basically, so we are saying if we use the mount command, that will be for that session. If we reboot, that will be gone. But if we make an entry into the file system table, then that mount will stay there forever, right?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, you got it. Okay. All right, so I type dffnh and still not there. Okay, so what is the command to mount it without restarting? You type mount -A. Okay, but for let's restart it here, okay? Because I want to show you it should come back up and mount itself, okay? I'm going to restart. So what we are making is, the technical term is making it persistent, making it persistent in the system. Okay, and Okay, the system has rebooted, and let me type df-h. Okay, now you see by default it's part of this disk here. Okay, any questions? Okay. Okay, so let's go into this disk or this folder, and then if you type ls-l, you shouldn't see the original. You shouldn't see the original content that was in the disk. We have about five. We have about 5 files in there. Okay, so let me create about 100 files here. Touch. Okay, I just created about 100 files in here. Okay, so I'm gonna unmount this. How do you unmount? How do you this is hard coded, right? So how do you unmount it? There is a command called umount. And then what do you want to umount? Either you could type /dev/sdb1, or you could type this too, /root/full disk. Okay, let's type dff-h. Okay, so it gave us an error. Why it gave us an error? Because we are sitting in that we are right now in that directory, so we got to get out of there, and we have to run that command again. Okay, now it's unmounted. If I type dff-h, see the mount is gone. The mount is gone. Okay. Can somebody tell me if I go back into the disk 4, what will happen here? If I do ls, how many files should see here?
Nothing.
No. I should see my original 5 files. Okay. Even though I created the 100 files here, the 100 files are sitting on SDB1. Okay, let me mount. When you type mount-a, what it's going to do is it's going to read the FS tab, and then anything which is not mounted is going to mount. There you go. All your stuff is back there, but let's see. So you have to get out of here, and then you could go back in there. Maybe your 100 files are back. Okay. Okay. So you could definitely see how you could play around with this here. Okay, that's not it here. So let me see if I could mount it to the folder MNT. So there is an empty folder which is built in MNT. So let me get out of there, and then let me mount. It's already mounted here, but this is just an experiment. I'm going to see if it's going to allow me to do that. Mount/sdb dev/sdb1/mnt. Okay, it kind of did. Let's see if we could go in there. Okay. Do you see now the same drive is mounted onto another folder? Okay, let's see if we could go back in there. Okay. So what is happening here is our SDB1 is mounted onto two different places.
So one directory or folder can be mounted at more than one mounting points.
Yeah, you could mount, yeah, the one partition. I mean, this is nothing but a partition, right? One partition could be mounted to more than one directory.
But it's same. It's true for folders as well. We can mount. That's the beauty of the Linux, that we can mount anything, right? It doesn't have to be partition.
Yes. For you to be able to do that in Windows, you have to have I'm not sure how you could do that in Windows. It's just you have to create a shortcut or something. I don't. But remember, right now we are using a 4G disk and MNT as nothing but as a window, as a viewing point. And then since you are able to view, you could create files and folders and everything in it. But the data is being saved. Where is the data is being saved? The data is being saved onto slash dev slash SDB1. That's where the data is being saved.
So we just saw you show that previous file was also there. So if we create a mounting point, and after that if we create any file or directory, that will be created on the directory or partition where we are mounting to. But if something was prior to that, that would also be present over there.
Yeah, that information is on the that is actually on the SDBA. SDBA. That's where it's sitting in there. So folder over here or a directory over here, we are using this as a window to look into the partition. I'm telling you guys, if you all master this, because I'm giving you, you don't really have to go through the videos here. I'm going to give you all the notes here and practice, practice, practice. If you are going to master this and the next couple of topics which are coming up, I will definitely guarantee you once you clear the interview. I mean, during the interview, if somebody asks you about all this here and you tell them all the correct answers, definitely you will get hired. I guarantee that.
And when it is going to happen, first of all?
When you complete the course.
Okay.
I'm talking to one of the recruiter for Apple. I'm gonna have her join in about this May June. Yeah, after Independence Day, she's gonna come in here and then she will. I will ask her to join and take a look, and then I'm gonna kind of prepare you guys for some of the Apple jobs they have for Apple. But it's located in North Carolina, so if you are interested, you can move there.
Would this be contract or permanent?
It will be contract definitely for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, once you get an Apple, Google, or Cisco on your resume, you're all set for the rest of your life. So I'm telling you, don't give up. Practice this, and this is a very high demand job. They couldn't find enough people there. Matter of fact, I have two interviews last week. One was to work from home. Other one was to go to Overland Park. And if you like to go to California, it's very very expensive. If you are single, you could definitely go there, Silicon Valley. All they are looking for nothing but Linux because everything is running on cloud. And since Windows is doing still stuck in the licensing model, Linux is leading the way. Also, if you want to do contract, you might want to set up your own corporation. That way, you could take the payment on corporation. Okay, let's go. Okay, all right. Let me just put. So this is the line you put it in there. Okay, let's go ahead and create the second partition there. Okay. Okay. So I'm not happy with this thing here. So I need the second one. So I do fdisk slash dev slash sdb. Okay, and I hit enter. Okay, and then I'm gonna push M for help. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do P to look for the partition. Okay, I see there is one partition already there, which is 4 GB in size. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create P or no N for new, create new partition, and then which partition I want to create? I want to create primary, P and hit enter, and then I want to give the partition number 1. Okay, I did that on purpose because partition 1 is already being used here, right here. This is partition 1, SDB 1. So I'm going to create new. I'm going to create primary partition, and let me just hit enter. It should take number 2. Okay, I thought it does, but I'm putting number 2 in here, and then the default cylinders is this, and now if you hit enter here, it's going to take whatever is left. Okay, so we know 4 GB is left. If we hit enter, it's going to take the rest of the disk. But you could, if you want, you could type plus 2 GB. You could do that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hit enter, and then let's take a look at P, and you see SDB2. It's a second partition here. So the start of the block starts at 1, and it ended at 523, and starting at 524, and this is where it's ending. And this is the ID here. ID 83 is a Linux system. It took automatically here. When we're going to creating swap, we have to assign it, okay? And then if you quit now, it's not going to save changes. If you just simply quit, what is the command to quit? If we simply just quit, it quit without saving changes here. But I want to write changes, so I'm going to type W and hit enter, okay? All right. So can somebody tell me what important thing we have to do at this moment? Okay, so we have to make file system mk2fs dot ext4 mkfs dot ext4, and then which files is which partition you want to do? sdb2. Okay. Oh, mkfs dot ext4 backslash sdb2. Okay, mkfs dot ext4 slash dev slash sdb2. Oh, it's not showing.
Do you know we need to reboot? Well,
Um, it's telling to run part 4. Part close slash dev slash sdb2. Kernel failed to reread the partition table on the SDA. Oh, give me one moment. Why is it busy? Part 4 kernel failed to read the partition. Okay, so what are you going to do here? If you don't know what's going on, you bring up your Google and paste and go. Okay, here. You have to run this command. Okay, it says it added the partition number 2. So it should work now. There you go. Actually, this should be a part of here. Okay, so we do dff-h. It's mounted in here, right? SDB1. Okay, right now it's mounted twice. SDB1 is because we fooled around and mounted in 2 different places here. But if we do cat proc etc, no, cat etc fs tab, it's not in there. So when the system reboots, it's gonna remove this. It's gonna remove this one here. This one is not mounted. It's not hard coded in fs tab, so it's gonna remove that. But we could also run mount-a to remove that also. Okay. It didn't remove. Okay, I'm not worried about that. So let's mount. Let me umount it. Umount /mnt. Okay, now it's gone. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mount the newly created SDB2 in here. Okay. But I want to use a UUID this time. How I'm going to do that? BLK-ID. I'm going to use BLK-ID, and then you see SDB2 in here. Okay, so type df-h. Okay, or cat /etc/fs tab. Okay, and let me copy this here. Okay, so let me type, what did I copy? Okay, this is what I have here, right? So let me paste this here, and let me go back up here. And then where am I mounting? I'm mounting to MNT. And I'm going to use the UUID this time. I'm going to use UUID, okay? Okay, do you see what's happening now? MNT is a directory. Okay, it's not working where I want it. So I'm going to go directly into the vi/etc/fs tab. So I'm going to model after this here. What I'm seeing here is you could copy this line. And then this UUID is mounted here to this boot. So we are mounting it to MNT. Okay. And EXT defaults. Okay. And all this looks good to me. Okay, so I type mount-a. It should read from FS tab and it should bring that up. Okay. Any questions? When we did before mount A, it wasn't there. After that, it's showing up here. Well, how does it know it's SDB2? Because it's using the UUID, unique uh, universal unique identifier. That's what it means, I think. Any questions? You all are still
So,
here, right?
Zafar, question related to block ID. So when we use a block ID, it will show only block IDs for partitions. Is that true? It will not show block IDs if we have just created a disk but have not created any partition on it.
No, it should. They, I don't remember. I mean, it should be it. It should show the for the partitions only, I think.
It shows for partition only, right? But if,
Yeah.
let's say, I went on the VirtualBox and I created a new disk and assigned to that, and that disk got a volume name or disk name SDB or SDC, but
So
I
you
have not
haven't done
created any
anything
partition
to
yet.
it yet, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it will show up here.
that's what's happening with me on the side. Yeah.
Okay. But if you type LSBLK, it should show up in there.
Okay.
Type LSBLK, is it showing? It won't show you.
Yeah. It is showing.
Huh?
Yeah, it is showing. Yeah, with the
Yeah,
signs that's
but
right.
it won't show you UUID though.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
get
that's
the
true.
UUID, you have to type BLK ID.
Yep. That's true. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and or Okay. So now there is a command if you want to see the inodes. Let me just finish this here. So when you are working in FS tab, you have to put this in a new line, okay? And this is from here. Once you type this, push a tab and then slash mnt, then push a tab ext4, then push a tab key on the keyboard. Defaults, then tab 1, then tab again 1. Or you could copy this and just edit this out, okay?
So also we are saying basically we can mount either using a UUID or we can use mount using the paths, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anybody? I'm not going to start LVM. It's only 20 minutes left, so I'll start next week. But I want to see anybody having any pending problems if they couldn't get these things. Let's discuss this now. Okay. By the way, there is one command if you want to see how many inodes are disk has. You type a df-i df-i, and it will give you the number of inodes each disk has. So SDB2 has 261,000 and change is the inodes here. That means each inode is assigned to each file here. So if you have like 260, if you have that many files which they are not even as big as 1 kilobyte, but if all the inodes are taken up, what will happen is you are unable to write to this disk here. So let's go ahead and do that. So I have a clean disk. I do df-h, and the disk is barely being used. It's only being used only 1% here. So how many inodes I have? BHF and I have 261,000 inodes available. That means I could write up to 261,632 files in there. So let's create here. All right. Let's see how long it's going to take. What I'm doing is I'm simulating the size. I'm taking up all the inodes. Oh, okay. Okay, look at that. Look at that. What it did here is it took all the inodes here. It took all the inodes which are available for this mon point. Okay. So what does that mean here is that means the disk is full. Inodes are full. That means you can't write anything more on it here. Look, the size of the disk is, I mean, the disk is only being used 1%.
So this means, Zafar, that we can create more files, but we can write the data to the existing files, right?
No, it won't allow you to create anymore.
No, but we can write the data to the existing file, right?
No, you cannot. Once the inodes are used up, you cannot write it either. DFF&H. The disk is barely being used, but the inodes are gone. When you type inodes, there are only zero free inodes here. Let's touch. Okay, so it says cannot touch free. No spaces left on the device. You will see this a lot. You will see this a lot in the. You will be getting a ticket here. The application team will be crying. I have so much disk left and I cannot create any more files here. So they'll be crying. So what you have to do is you have to dh-h, dh-i, and then you give dev/sdb2, and you get this output here. You put this output and send him in the email. You're using all the inodes. So tell him why is he using all the inodes. Okay, then he won't come back to you and he will delete some silly files that may be sitting around. See, all these files are barely any size. They are zero. All of them are showing zero. Okay, but the inode is taken up. There is no place for the inode to write it anymore. Okay. So, but you could extend the inodes. Okay. The one you did, the one system is showing. This is assigned by system. This is assigned by system here, but you could extend the inodes. Okay, how are you going to extend the inodes? Okay. Okay, so first you have to do BFF&I. Okay, so all the inodes are taken up. So how you gonna increase the inode? Okay, so you have to unmount it first. Umount. To unmount it, the command is umount. Okay, so it's saying busy. Why is it saying busy? Anybody? Because I'm already into that mount, so I have to get out of it. So it's unmounted. Okay, what I have to do is mkfs. So you get a request to say increase the inode. What are you gonna do? You type mkfs ext4. Okay, hyphen n. Okay, n stands for node, inodes, number of inodes. So how much I'm going to increase? I'm going to increase it to 800,000. And now which one you going to increase? SDB2. And I hit enter. Okay. So if I go back in here, if I do ls, what's going to happen? Anybody?
So you're gonna have more space, right? You're gonna have more space to make the files.
Well, the space is already there.
No, you will not have more space. You will have more inodes, and you will be able to write if you want.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay, mount as a name. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what happened here is the UUID is changed. Why is UUID has changed?
It should be Zafar, because UID is not only a unique identifier for that partition. It contains all the attributes as If you would change anything, it should change.
Yeah, but the UUID is changed. This is what is the UUID is in FS tab, and the new UUID is this. So the reason the UUID is gone is because we created a new file system, mkfsext-4 hyphen, and we did this here. So what's going to happen is this will delete all the data. Never ever entertain this kind of request from the application team. All data will be lost. Okay, so we're gonna have to manually mount it.
So whether we lost the data because we changed the file system, or we lost the data because we added the inodes.
No, we wrote mkfs.ext. It's a very dangerous command. It's necessary in some cases, but if you're extending the inodes, it is very dangerous. It doesn't care. Once you hit enter as a root, it's gonna write over.
So is there any way to add additional inodes without losing the data?
See, I'm doing ls-l. Everything is gone. df-h. The space is there. df-i. It has 800,000 inodes here. The only way you could do it here is when you are doing the format, you have to do it here. You have to do it in this step. You have to think about this before you even run this command. So you have to determine, okay, this is the application team. They're using some silly files. They may be using a lot of junk files. So you talk to them. They will come to you and say, okay, I need this file system here, but we need like a 1 million inodes on it. So you just create it beforehand. If you create it over here, then all the data is gone. And it's approved here.
But the other thing which we noticed that when we run the format command, make file system, we mentioned that 800 or whatever 8 million.
Yeah, 800,000.
Yeah, but what we're looking at, it's a little more, 256. What is that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure, but I mean, this is how it is. Even though nothing is there, it says 1% is used, right? So I'm pretty sure this 824 it's used by some system result. It's using some inodes file as system result.
I think it has to be multiple of 1024.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Because I divided and it gave me the integer.
Oh. So you divided by how much?
1024.
1024. And then out of that, 10 has been used up. About 9. 11. It says here 11 is used up. So you did 800,000 divided by 1024?
Yes, but it is not integer. Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, don't worry about it. But
Okay.
you would definitely never run this command here on running, which is already existing one. Okay. If you want to do it, then you do it over here. You do it here. Where? Yeah, you do it here.
So if someone is requesting for more iNotes, you do it at the mkfs.
I mean, I've been working, so I never did that. I always tell them to go ahead and delete this file there. I tell them, hey, you used all of the inodes, so delete some files. Yeah, that's the best route to go.
Would it be possible if they back those files up and then increase it and put it back? Is that an option, or is that?
I mean, yeah, you could expect that in a smaller place. A big place, they just don't care. They just add another drive.
Okay,
They
got
just
it.
extend the LVM. So we
Yeah,
can talk about that
for
next week.
for any hypothetical scenario, I would also thinking that we can uh, create a new disk with much larger inodes, copy the data over there, and mount that disk to the same mounting point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. But to avoid that, you determine that over here. So assigning million or 2 million inodes is just a little command here. So if you just make sure you are added here during this command here, then you could do that. But extending the existing inode is always a pain.
Also, because my background is from application, so I don't think application team even knows much about inodes, and they will come to us asking for inodes.
Did it happen to you? You guys did that?
I'm saying that application team don't care about inodes, and they don't know much about inodes. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Because they fill up with all these silly junk files, and they cry about it and says, "Oh, we don't have any more disk, and it's only 1% being used." Well, you used up all the inodes. No matter the size, what the size of the file is, if it's a one single file and if it's 0 KB, it will use a inode. I just demonstrated earlier. We created about 200,000 inodes, and the size is nothing, zero.
it can happen due to if a newbie joined and somebody is trying any wrong script, and if they end up creating that many files mistakenly. Otherwise, in real time scenario, it's very rare to happen.
Yeah. But I've seen that. Most of the time, I tell them, I give them, hey, go back in this folder, and you have too many junk files that you just delete some. So they know what they're doing, so they'll delete some. Okay, I'm going to stop here. We got 5 more minutes. You want to discuss about anything? I'm going to scroll up here.
So Zafar, all these commands you showed us and everything, you're gonna clean this up and show us like step by step how to create.
Yeah, I'm going to clean
Yeah.
this up, and then I'm going to put commands in the command folder. I mean, I'm putting it. You guys are going in here, right, now and then? And
Yes.
then I'm making documents, like system initialization. I did it here for yesterday's work. So everything is in this course notes, and then I'm breaking that up and then putting it here as the topics.
Got it. And then the yesterday's video, you said you had some trouble uploading that. Is that something you're working on?
There now.
Oh, is there? Okay.
It's there now.
Okay. Thank you.
Cisco is not giving it right away. I mean, usually within 2 hours it was there, but I didn't see up until last night when I went to bed. It wasn't there, so I don't know what's happening with them.
Okay.
Okay, so next week I'm going to show you how to extend the partition, size of the partition, and then from there maybe we'll start LVM. Yeah, we would definitely start LVM either Saturday or Sunday.
Zafar, one more thing. About the assignments. You haven't spoken about the assignments. Are you gonna talk about that next week?
Yeah, actually I'm working on it, so it
Okay.
should be either today or tomorrow. I probably will make it today. It's
Okay.
partially ready. So I'll make it today and then I'll put it in here. Come back here
Okay.
and take a look. So the username will be your own name you provided me when you registered, and the password will be just Red Hat.
Okay. So are you gonna provide us the username you said? I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
username is
Okay.
your first name.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Whatever the first name you gave it to me when you registered, that's what's going to be your username.
Okay. So we're gonna log into like a system, and we're gonna do the assignment on there.
Yeah, I
Okay,
have an
got it.
online system. That system, if there is no activity, it goes down. If there is no activity for 4 hours, it goes down. So when you're trying to take an assignment, just put it in a chat that you're taking assignment and the system is down. Then I will turn it on.
Got it. Okay.
And I think you could do it from the work too. You could go into your workplace and then do it. And it will open up in the browser. It won't open. You don't need putty anything like that. It will open up in the browser.
Okay.
I think let me. Yeah, here's the system. Okay, remember always on a remote system, you could never log in as a root. So I'm working on it. I have about 7 in there. I'll put in almost 12 in there, 12 to 16 or 20 questions in there. And then when it's ready, you could go in there and take an assignment.
With our user, we would log in with our username and answer
Yeah.
user.
So whatever your username is, you just type that, and then the first name only, whatever the name you gave me. If you have given me something different you don't remember, just let me know or side chat me, okay?
Okay, and once we complete it, do we take a screenshot of this, or we just save it and then you'll see it? You'll have access to see our.
Yeah, you see instructions in there. I'll
Okay.
put very clear instructions. Okay, all right.
Thank you, Zafar.
All right, try to use that group if you are stuck somewhere, because that's what the group is for. And if you guys stay put, by the end of October, I think you guys should be landing higher paying jobs.
Jazakallah khairan.
All right, Allah Hafiz. Talk to you.
Love it.